for your life insurance and long-term care and so much more. We have Scott Zimmerman in the house. Welcome aboard, buddy.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, good to have you here.
Scott's with Corporate Strategies, and the name I'm taking it means you guys do so much. You go on your website, it's like, what do you need?
Right. Right.
I mean, you pretty much have it all, right?
Well, we basically specialize in health insurance, employee benefits, life insurance, disability insurance, and long-term care insurance.
You know,
Just that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
And how long? You've been around for a while too.
Yeah,
I mean, I know you look like you're 26, but
Oh gosh. I'll get a loan from you. You don't. I'll get a loan from you. Don't worry.
Flattery will get us everywhere.
Oh my gosh. No, thank you. I've been doing this for 25 years, my 25th year. So it's been a really nice career, and I love what I do, and I don't know anything else I would do but what I do right now. So thank you.
You know, that's unique that almost of every one of our guests and every one of our America's Professional Resource Group members is, I hear that regularly, that they can't imagine doing something else other than they do. And I think that's an important part of being a professional in your industry is, and same for Don and I, it's like, I can't imagine doing anything other than mortgage. I really can't.
Absolutely. And you should check it out. Go to aprgi.com, aprgi.com, and you can find out so much more about America's Professional Resource Group. It is going to become the #1 resource for anything you need in your personal and financial lives. I'm telling you, these are the guns in our industry. Some of the best family law attorneys, trust attorneys. There's so much more. Plus, you can also subscribe to our new magazine called The Vault Magazine, because everybody wants what's in the vault because there's valuable information in the vault. So you can subscribe to The Vault Magazine. These are articles from people just like Scott Zimmerman and Don and Gino and Jim Reap and so many great professionals, plus a little entertainment on top of that. You get recipes from Salt Creek Grill, and let's see, this coming up one we have Refinery. The Refinery, kind of popular place. Plus a lot of the other great professionals in this industry and stuff. And you're going to, shoot, my buddy's got the #1 wine blog in the nation. He's doing our wine section called Fermentation in the magazine. So much good info. You like that magazine, huh?
One of my favorite magazines out right now.
Very cool. All right, Scott, let's dive in. Let's talk about insurance, because we don't know. I know it's brutal, and I just want to catch your attention. We don't know when we're going to die in most cases. So you should be prepared. If not for you, for your loved ones or anybody around you, because if you're not prepared, it's going to affect them more than just the loss of you not being in their lives, but there's a lot more to it. So let's talk about how to get prepared and how do they know how much insurance to even get?
You know, it's a good question, because you're never really going to know exactly how much insurance you're going to need, and it's always going to change. That number can always change. But you know, as an insurance agent, I look at it different ways. You look at replacing, if you're married, you're replacing your income in the event you were to pass away early, take care of your family. You're earning X amount of dollars. For instance, $1 million, if you passed away at 5%, would replace $50,000 a year if you were to get 5% on your money. That's why really financial planners look at it. Or you can look at what debt you have, your homes, want to set up money in case you pass away early, take care of your kids' college, things of that nature. We can come up with a figure that way. So you can look at it both ways. There's no correct, proper science to coming out with an exact number, but it's a good guesstimate.
You know, what's interesting about that is you look at both of those strategies, and I think you have to use some sort of a combination of both, because I think a lot of people look at the liability strategy. I want to leave no debt for my family. Well, even if they have no debt, guess what? If they have no income, they're still going to have a really hard time. So I think you need to look at both of those and say, okay, even if I eliminate the debt, how much more do I need for income replacement? Or they can keep all the debt if they have X amount of income. So I really think you could look at both of those ways and still succeed.
I agree, and I hear a lot of people say, I want to have my house paid off. Interest rates are so low right now. I'd rather have $1 million in the bank than take $350 or whatever you owe on your house and pay it down. I'd rather have the money and just make the small payments, because payments are so low right now.
Yeah, I mean, Gino loves this statement. It's basically almost free money with inflation, because you're going to get appreciation on the home, plus you have a potential tax advantages between the interest you pay and the property taxes you pay. So that might not be the best strategy. But what's nice is when you work with a group of professionals like Scott Zimmerman, you know, Chris Ingram with our group, and Lisa Odom, and you get a group of individuals that have your common goal in line, you can make sure that all three of you talk
Right.
and say, this is what's important to them. Let's make sure it's aligned with their financial goals, their trust, and their insurance.
Right.
And that's what's great about having all your experience, Scott, because it's nice that you can tell you're just calm and cool and collected, because it's, let's ask the questions. What's important to you? What do we need to replace? What's important to your family? Do they have the means to make income if you pass away? Do they have an income if you pass away? How much debt is there? And like you said, you can bring up stuff like, well, why would you want your house paid off?
Right.
They might just go, because that's what I thought I was supposed to do.
Right.
Well, maybe you don't need to. They have $1 million, can pay that house payment for a long time.
Probably forever.
Exactly.
So Scott, here's one of the things that actually came up when Lisa and I were speaking last week. Is she says, "Oh, okay, great, Gino. So you're taken care of. You've got a life insurance policy." And says, "What about Nella?" I go, "Yeah, we've been meaning to do that." And she goes, "Well, you realize it's just important for her to be covered, because your life would be turned completely upside down if she was not around. Who would take care of the kids? What about her extra income? What would happen there?" So a lot of people, I think, make the mistake of saying, "Hey, the primary wage earner's covered. We're fine." But what about the other side?
I agree, and we talk about this a lot. Also, even if the main breadwinner is working and the spouse is staying home, if you have a great relationship and your spouse passes away, would you be able to function mentally? I don't know. Each person would be different, but maybe a lot of people wouldn't be able to work. They'd be so devastated. So you're right. I believe in getting your spouse insurance. If you can afford it, and if you have children, paying for a nanny, whatever the situation.
Yeah. There's a lot of factors they probably don't even think about, because you don't want to think about them. But you have to think about this stuff. I mean, when you set up a trust, you set up your life insurance policies, you set up this stuff. It's topics you don't want to talk about. It's the same thing with estate plan when you're talking about with your parents. Will you please set up a trust? Will you please let me know what you want to happen in case of you passing, or an injury, or sickness or illness? These are the tough subjects. But I'll tell you what, when you do go through this process, and Gino's going through it right now, it's a relief. It's a good thing for you and your family, knowing that you have prepared, and you're doing it without being under stress, right?
It is, and the other thing is, it doesn't have to be expensive. It can be really, really reasonable. You don't have to drain your pocketbook to pay for life insurance to protect yourself or your family. It can be really reasonable.
That's music to our ears. Thank you, Mr. Scott Zimmerman.